Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're gonna be talking about Fate Remnant Collide. So yeah, let us begin, shall we, ladies and gents? Now, we currently see Rex as he's going through the town, basically defeating multiple different members of the White Fang. While doing so, he would get information about what is happening, mostly through interrogation, thanks to the help of one of his servants, specifically that of, Ivan the Terrible, which he summoned earlier. Apparently, they were just doing this because they wanted to sow up some chaos. Apparently, their original plan was originally to cause more chaos by summoning in, or not really summoning, but more like, bring in multiple Grimm, and while doing so, bring in the White Fang to basically terrorize it more, causing multiple Grimm to basically become frenzied, because remember, they're based on negative emotions, and yeah, essentially way laced. Actually, let me just double check. I meant the way laced the entire, the entire city of Vale, or the entire kingdom of Vale. As after hearing this, he would say to himself, "So that's their plan." As while he's thinking this, one of his servants would say, specifically that of Ivan the Terrible, as Ivan would say, "Master." As he would look towards Ivan, as he would say, "Yes," as he would say, "May I ask of you? May I ask for permission to use my new phantasm? That will give them enough fear to know that we are not to be messed with." As after hearing that, he would say, "That is a bad idea. I mean, imagine the civilian casualties." As he would say, "I see. Then what shall we do then?" As while saying this, Izuku would say, "I know. I think I have an idea. Though I need you to stall some of the White Fang members from disturbing me." As he would say, "Yes. What is that? And what is that specific idea of yours exactly, Master?" As he would say, "I will summon more servants this time." After hearing these words, he would say, "It seems that you have a great idea in mind. Then, I shall stop them." As after saying these words, Izuku would also say, "You're also going to be stopped. You're also going to be helped by both by both Penthesilea and Zhang Yu. Got it?" As he would say, "Very well, Master." As before he can actually, go off and basically stop some more White Fang members, he would say, "And also, try not to kill any civilians. Got it?" As he would say, "Very well, Master." As after saying these words, he would start leaving. As while doing so, Izuku would say this to himself, "Alright, let's do this." As he would start creating another magic circle. As while doing so, somebody was watching him. We would currently see a little Grimm. As we would go, or at least the camera pans and basically goes inside of the Grimm, revealing that of the weird woman. As the weird woman would say to herself, "So, what is he doing exactly?" she would say to herself. As she would look towards the man right beside her, a man with tan skin and white hair, wearing that of a somewhat similar attire to, I think it was it called again? Let me just double check. A somewhat Mistralian type of clothing, with a yukata, and I guess you could say almost like samurai feeling armor, or at least kind of. As he would say, "It seems that he's summoning another servant, or multiple servants. Interesting, interesting," he would say. As the woman would say, "If he's summoning more servants, as you say, we should stop." As he would say, do not need that, my master. It is merely just a toy." And besides, it will make this war a little bit more interesting, don't you think? As she would say, very well. But she would look towards the servant as she would say, may I ask of you, why are you doing this exactly? As he would say, it is merely to save this world. After all, after learning about this world's powers, and especially from you, it seems that these twin gods, as you say, are nothing more than fake, he would say. After hearing these words, she would say, yes, you are right. So, as she would look towards him, as he would say, what is the current situation with the what you call as the Greater Grail, as you call it? As he would say, oh, it's currently still forming down below in the dungeon. Let's just say some Grim have been trying to get to it. It seems they seem to be attracted to it a lot. In fact, it seems to be like a magnet. As after hearing these words, she would say, is there any problems with that? As he would say, oh no. Nothing too major. It's just interesting to say the least. Also, as he would say this, the other masters, including that of your subordinates, are almost ready to get ready to summon servants. Though I'm still quite concerned about the situation with the other members of the other team. As he would say, other team? As he would say, yes. Since this Holy Grail War is quite huge, especially since this is the first time we're ever going to have a Holy Grail War here in this world, I want to at least make it a grand war. The first Holy Remnant Grail War, he would say. Though, the only problem is, there are going to be at least about... But currently, there's going to be a lot of problems, especially since the servant count, he would say. As after hearing that, she would say, how many servants exactly? As he would say, about 23 at least. Well, not including his servants, though. After hearing these words, she would say, wait, really? As he would say, yes. Though, to say the least, these servants are going to be quite interesting, because they're going to be all random, and since that this Holy Grail War is not being mitigated by the gods of my world, or should I say, those twin gods, to say the least, it will be much more chaotic, to say the least. So, to be more frank, we should prepare for ourselves, prepare for the unexpected, to say the least. After saying these words, she would say, I see. Then, show no mercy, and show them the terror that we shall sow, ruler. As after saying the name of the servant's class, he would say, very well. For I am Amakusa Shiro Tokisada, and I shall show no mercy to the enemies. As after saying that, he would unsheath his sword, as he would say, and we shall attain victory, he would say. After saying these words, a few shadows would appear, specifically that of the other, I guess you could say, like, subordinates of this woman, as she would say, good. I hope so, she would say, as she would think of her wish when she obtains this Holy Grail, the wish to destroy the two twin gods. And so we would go back to Izuku. As Izuku would continue on with the ritual, as he would start seeing sparks and electricity come out of the circle, as he continued on saying these words, now, release yourself! As after saying this, he would summon in two servants coming from the shadows, or coming from the circle. After doing so, a few Prishniki would come out saying, Lord Summoner, we've been asked before they can. One of the servants would just slice them in half. Doing so, one of the other Frishiki would say, "Duh, what is this?" He would say, as he would get ready his crossbow. As the other servant would get ready to strike him down, as Izuku would say, not Izuku, I meant Rex. Rex would say, "Stop!" As after saying this, the two servants would look at him as he would say, "Enough of this! You're my servants. And besides, these are also my allies, so do not kill them." As after saying these words, one of the servants would revealing herself to be some sort of samurai. In fact, she actually has somewhat familiar features, as she would release her otachi from this from the neck of the poor Prishniki, as he would say, "Thank you," he would say. As while saying this, she would say, "Very well," she would say, as she would put back her swords into her sheath, as she would say this, "Servant, Avenger," she would say. "You may call me Ushigosen. Now, may I ask, are you my commander?" she would say. As the other servant would be revealed, as something would come out of the shadows, revealing the second servant, which seemed to be a headless horseman. Well, except the horse. Instead, it's a massive white wolf with flaming blue eyes and a mouth, wielding that of a scythe in its mouth, similar to that of a certain someone in Dark Souls. And so the wolf would howl. And after doing so, the servant would just look at him as the wolf would bow, including that of the headless horseman, as he would hear in his mind, "Servant, Avenger. So, I've been summoned here. Very well. You may call me Hessian, and this is Lobo." As after hearing these words, he would say, "So, a mercenary. Very well then. You'll help me and take care of the other White Fang members, and protect this city. Do not kill them. And do not kill any civilians, got it?" he would say in a commanding tone. As after hearing these words, the now recognized Ushigozen would say, "Very well then." As after saying these words, he would jump off from the building that they were, the sitting in, or like, staying in. As she would end up going at full speed, as she seems to be riding on some sort of what seemed to be a combination of some sort of, I guess you could say, a mechanical bull mixed with a spider, which, if you don't know, is a which, if you don't know, is that of an Ushi Oni. As while she rode off in her somewhat gigantic, well, not really gigantic, maybe about the size of like a car. Yeah, about the size of a car. As while doing so, he would look towards Hessian Lobo, as Hessian Lobo would say in his mind, "Very well, I shall protect the civilians. I shall be the Night Rider," he would say. As after saying this, the wolf would howl, as Lobo would ride him into battle. As doing so, they would disappear in shadow, as they would hear the sound of crying, or at least the sound of shouting, of, I guess you could say shouting, members of the White Fang, basically screaming out, "What the hell?" As when Izuku heard that, he would say, "Well, this is certainly going to be an interesting one." After saying these words, he would get ready to get out of there and go and find, his other, teammates. But before he can, he would get a call. As Rex was about to leave, he would get a call from someone. As he would say, "Wait, who is it?" As he would grab his scroll, as he would see it was coming from that of his, I guess you could say his uncle. Yeah, his uncle. His uncle Ironwood. As after doing so, he would say, "Wait, uncle, what is it?" As he would say, not Izuku, I meant, "Rex, we need help immediately." As after hearing that, he would say, shit. And so he would start moving out as well, going to find where his uncle is. And so we will end off this episode right off here. So yeah, bye bye.